Good morning to all our viewers and a very warm welcome to our session on career guidance. Before we begin, I'd like to invite Ms. Nirmala to invoke God's blessings.
Let's all take a moment to invoke God's blessings before we begin for today. All holy, loving, and compassionate God, we thank you for this beautiful day and the opportunity you have given us to gather here on this day. You have created each one of us unique and blessed with skills, abilities, and talents. You have designed us and our story beautifully, Lord. Only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, every life. We pray that this webinar equips the students to unfold your plan. We ask for your guidance, wisdom, and support in our lives. We also pray for the guest speakers for today's webinar, our principal, staff, parents, and the students attending here. With all the love and gratitude, we come before you. In your holy name, I make this prayer. Amen. Now, I request Ms. Veena to introduce the speakers for today's webinar.
A very good morning to all of you. To be inspired is great, but to be an inspiration is an honor. Ms. Sheila Tyagaraj, Director of Center for Global Education, directs our Indian operations and leads our graduate recruiting and university collaboration efforts. Born and raised in Bangalore, Ms. Sheila holds a master's degree in family resource management from Bangalore University. She entered the field of international education due to a keen interest in assisting students achieve a valuable study abroad experience. Along with a diverse role in intercultural exchange with American students and colleagues and an optimistic attitude, she continues to share this exposure with potential students. Ms. Sheila developed a robust knowledge and skills through her experience at Long Island University, where she worked in international admissions, student affairs, administration, as well as program development. She enjoyed going beyond enrollment management to include building relationships with study abroad license, prospective students, and parents. She brings 14 years of experience in international education. Ms. Bhumi Shah is a manager, college counseling and student success at Gen Next Education. With over 14 years of experience, Bhumi has supported dreams of thousands of students and has expertise in emerging courses, admission process, and strength building for students. In her current role, she works with the high school students and their parents across South Asia and Middle East. Bhumi is a passionate reader and believes in the power of education to bring peace and progress in the world. Thank you. I request Ms. Sheila Tyagaraj to take over.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to address your students here. I firstly would like to apologize that I have some technical issues with my video, and I'm unable to come on to live on camera. So with that, hello, everyone. A very good morning and a warm welcome to all of you from Gen Next. Thank you, students and parents, for joining us on this session, especially parents for taking the time to be with us on a Saturday morning. So let me introduce who we are and what we do even before we go ahead with this session. So Gen Next Education is an international education organization based in India, the UK, and North America. And we provide free comprehensive counseling to students and families, helping them find their right fit university. We are based in Bangalore too. We have an office in Bangalore, and my colleague who's joining me today works out of our Ahmedabad office. So when I say that we help you find the right fit university, which means right from application to pre-departure and beyond. So we also launched a platform called Connected by GenNext Education, which is instrumental in connecting students with global universities and providing valuable resources for higher education. We also help with Indian universities on that note. And I know all of you students here are in your 10th grade and you're keen to know what to do next. So ideally, when a student is in class 10th, he or she should start exploring his or her interest. And after your class 10 board exams, you stand at the first crossroads, right? What will you do next? Now, this question will pop up from time to time whenever you reach an important milestone in your life. And many students find this question very frustrating and intimidating because you're not clear about your career ambitions or how to reach. You may never be perfect in anything. You may not be good at, let's say, writing skills. You may not be good at computing. You may not be good at sports, even reading. But then if you see on the other side, you could probably be good at everything. But the key point here is to acquire skills, to learn more, because that's what is needed. It's always nice to acquire new skills and keep learning. So today on this session, both Bhumi and me, we will be talking to you about various streams that you can choose from, opportunities that's available after your 10th grade, and what scopes of career you have with various streams. We will have time for questions at the end of the session. Without further ado, let's get started. And I would like Bhumi to take over and present to you.
Before Ms. Bhumi takes over, I'd just like to point out a few things. Students, parents, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat session, in the Q&A session, and that would be addressed to the moderators. The moderator will address it to our resource people by Ms. Supriya. Second is for the attendance, a link will be posted, a feedback link. We request you to fill that towards the end of the session. So any questions, you can put it in the Q&A section. Thank you so much. Ms. Bhumi, you can take over.
Thank you. Very good morning to all of you. Thank you for having us here. A big thanks to the entire school, community for organizing this for the students. This is, like as Ms. Sheila mentioned earlier, a very, very pressing challenge that usually students face. Like most of you are in your class 9th and 10th. So to the students and parents, like if you are at a juncture right now where you are not sure, what is next? Or even if you are sure, you have taken a call, you are reassessing your, decisions, or you are just thinking now, okay, I've decided what is next. We hope that this session will provide you some meaningful insights and, information to take home and maybe think about it. So whatever we are discussing during this session, you may take it as a starting point. There are many things that go into, taking a very well-informed decision. So take this session as a starting point of, this journey that you are going to take, and not just one-off session where you are going to learn something. Do note down all the questions. As Ms. Sheila Balan also mentioned, we will be taking it up towards the end of the session. So let's make it more interactive. Don't think that any question is silly or small for us. Ask anything that you have in mind. So what we are planning to learn through today's session, we are going to talk more about what career actually is. When like our families, our peers, our mentors, or even our friends say that no, this is what I want to do, or this is who I want to become. Let's discuss a bit more about what the technicalities of career is. How do you plan your career? Then we will also talk about how do you connect the dots in planning your career and finding your true calling. Then we will also share our time-tested formula with you in planning the entire, college applications after your high school. And then we also want to talk to you about diversity in careers. So as Ms. Sheila mentioned earlier, we will talk about the various streams that you can take up after 10th. What are the career opportunities available after you pick up certain streams? So we are going to talk about these things, and later we will open it for the question answers. So when we talk about career, Usually, like, we must have heard from our families, our peers, and mentors that no, like, maybe you should become an engineer or a musician or maybe a scientist or a doctor. Various professions, like some professions are most heard or they are like most pushed after, and some professions are still unconventional. Students take up that path. So that is fine, but a career is basically an occupation that you take after a long years of preparation, and a very significant period of, it's going to take a very significant period of your life. In return, it will also provide you a lot of opportunities for progress, learning, and development. So this is, something we are talking about. What you are going to take up after a thorough training through your education. We are living in a world where people also have dual career. You might not just want to, confine yourself in one occupation that you are undertaking. You might have several interests and you want to pursue all of them. So as the world evolves, our way of working will also evolve. So we'll talk about that, how you can also, um, engage multiple interests that you have into your occupation, and probably what meaningful you can find. Now, as we talk about, let's say, the career is basically what you do after a certain period of training and planning. What goes into that planning is an education that you are going to undertake after your high school, and these are the years, like when you are in your 9th and 10th, you are investing in preparation of that. Your 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, these are 4 very crucial years when you will be identifying what your interest areas are, what your skills, values, and abilities are. This is an evolving journey. Maybe what is interesting to you now may not be interesting to you in 11th and 12th. But tracking this progress, or as you evolve, tracking your own life's trajectory is also very important. Being more self-aware, being more introspective and reflective in your own learning is very important, and that is something it will make you or it will help you to make an informed decision. So let's talk more about how you can find your interest or skills. And like, when I'm talking about it, I know this is not as easy as it looks like. We are like, even when we are at this stage in our life, we are always evolving and finding, okay, like, am I really liking and enjoying what I do? So as I mentioned earlier, it's an evolving journey, but be in the moment where you are right now. If you are in your 9th and if you are in your 10th, analyze what are your interest areas. We're talking about finding your calling, okay? And finding your calling means getting closer to what you really want to do, what you really like doing. Analyze what are your interest areas, like what do you really like doing. If you are inside the classroom, what are the maybe topics that are interesting to you? What are the topics that you really don't enjoy? You're doing it for the sake of doing it. Outside the classroom, what are the things that you really like to spend some time on? Even if you don't have time, you do want to take out some minutes during your day and you want to work on it. Be it music, be it cooking, be it dance, or be it coding. What is it that is interesting to you, that you really feel passionate about? Do a bit of a research on your interest codes as well. When we talk about learning codes, everybody has a unique personality, and when you self-assess yourself, when you are introspecting and connecting your interest areas, you will also know what kind of a personality you have. Like, either are you a person who has a bit of a directive interest? A directive interest means you like to take in charge of a particular activity or a particular task. You like to lead people, you like giving directions. Are you that kind of a person, or are you having an innovative interest? Are you a creative person? You like to really observe things, You like to know how something is built or how something really works? Or are you a social person who really likes to enjoy listening to people, their stories, guiding them, serving them? Based on this different kind of interest, you talk to your people, you talk to your parents, you talk to your friends, and you'll also, we will be happy to help you in identifying, your interest areas, and eventually this will link to the skills that you have. If you are a person who really likes to be more sociable, or who really likes to, lead people from front, lead projects from front, that will also be an indicator of your skills that you have. You will have a persuading skills, you will have a negotiation skills, or you will be really good at conversation. This will give an idea about the skills that you have, or skills that you can learn. There are some talents that naturally people have, and that helps them in identifying their values and the careers they can take. Some kind of people, like if you are a student who really maybe is very innovative, very creative, you will enjoy that kind of professions also, be it architecture, be it engineering, or be it sciences or research. You might enjoy those professions which involves creativity, or now when we talk about creativity, it is not only the arts and design. So knowing more about your interest areas and skills will eventually help you to learn what values do you bring and connect it with your future career options. When you know that, okay, these are the interest and values you have, and if you work on those career lines, it will bring you more happiness. Like we've seen, right? Like we change our careers over a period of time. Some people have worked for a very long time in a particular industry, and then they change their industries as well, which is completely fine. As we evolve as a human being, we change, and that is the only constant thing, as they say. So it's fine to change, but you do not have to take up a profession just because someone else is taking it up. My colleague Sheila will be talking about those challenges also in the coming few slides. But if you have done a research on your own, if you are more self-aware and taking an informed decision, that will bring more satisfaction and happiness, and avoid the challenges, inner challenges that usually students face even after joining a bachelor's degree. Like we have had students who say that, no ma'am, I've taken engineering, but I really don't want to do it now. I do want to maybe study another program. Or we have had students who say that, no, I've taken biology, but I don't want to study computer science now. So those things happen, and we can avoid all of that if we have invested enough time in this 2 years while taking this decision, right? And you will still get that flexibility if you're studying abroad, changing the courses and plans. A lot of our Indian institutions, we do not have that flexibility of changing the streams during your graduation, right? So it's important that you learn about yourself, learn what your learning style is. What kind of a learner are you? Like, are you an auditory learner, or you are more of a visual learner? That will also help you to understand, what how fast you learn, and what kind of professions will be better for your progress as well. If you still want to take up an assessment which will help you to learn and understand what your interest, skills, values, and learning styles are, I'll be sharing a link towards the end of the session of Career Cruising Assessment. It's a free assessment for our students, where there are multiple choice questions. Based on the answers that you put up, you will also get your suitable career options that you can take up, or what really your skills and values and how your learning styles are evolving. We usually suggest to take up that assessment every 6 months, every 3 months, so that you are keeping a track of how you are changing and evolving. Okay. moving on to, I hope that has given you some idea to start on and reflect, learn more about your interest codes, everything. This is a time tested formula that we use and share with our students. So keep it in mind, and especially now when you are at a starting point in your journey, keep pace in mind. Where you are in the first 2 years, you are planning, you are setting up smart goals for your education. When we talk about goals, remember, it does not just have to be that, no, I want to achieve 90% in 10th. It should be, how do I want to achieve 90% in 10th? What all I have to do in order to achieve that? Which are the subjects I'm going to take and everything, right? How much time am I going to devote? So your goals have to be smart goals. They have to be measurable. They have to be action oriented. So similarly, set up smart goals for this, coming 4 years now, as you are setting a foundation for what lies ahead after your high school. So take these years as very, very instrumental in your entire journey, and not only your 11th and 12th, which are going to be crucial. If you have planned and organized everything very rightfully in this 4 years, you have divided everything equally, the journey will be very, it will be less stressful. You will enjoy that. So invest in yourself in these 2 years, plan your goals, learn about your skills, interest areas, analyze what are the streams and the career options that you are going to take up. There are various other educational and career opportunities both in India and outside. Analyze what are the best options for you. There are several myths that all of us have. So talk to the advisors and do not confine yourself to one particular country or one particular city or a university. The world is going global, so have global aspirations also. Sometimes we think that, no, maybe if I just don't want to study abroad, that's going to be really expensive. Well, I don't disagree with that. It might be expensive, but as I mentioned, if you've planned everything well, there are significant scholarship opportunities. We have also seen students taking up options like where they study 2 years in India and then 2 years outside. So now as I mentioned, the world is going global, and all the universities in India and abroad, they are also approaching adapting to very global approach, where the education is not just specific to one country or a city. So analyze all the options that you have, and because there are a lot of opportunities, it's all the more confusing. So I'm very glad that your school has hosted this session at a very early stage, so you have enough time to now prepare yourself. When you are in your 10th and 11th, think about what are the now best fit career opportunities and the universities and the countries that you should be applying to. Now, based on the country that you decide to apply to, even if it is India, there are going to be several entrance exams, standardized tests that you have to prepare for. I'm sure, like a lot of you who are planning to study in India or maybe preparing for JEE or NEET, you must have started your preparations either from now, or you're planning to start it from maybe in a couple of years. So similarly, think about what are the standardized tests that you have to take, the entrance exams you have to take, prepare yourself for the same. And if you plan to study outside, and a lot of universities in India now, especially the private universities, maybe, if you even have heard of Ashoka or Kriya or OP Jindal, a lot of these universities now look at the holistic profile. That means not only your grades, but everything that you have done starting from your 9th to 12th will be important to them. So while you focus on your grades and the exams that you have to take up, ensure that you are also engaged in the activities. Now, activities can be either academic activities or the extracurricular activities as well. So in the academic activities, you can engage in all kinds of either research work, project work in your 10th, 11th. A lot of students do internships as well. You participate in MUNs or Olympiads, all the opportunities that you have. If you have a student council at the school, maybe you participate in that, or talk to your school leaders on what are the kind of opportunities you can create. Perhaps start a magazine, or if it is not there, how can you, or if it is already there, how can you contribute to it? So discuss what are the, you know, inside the classroom opportunities that you can create or you can have, and the outside high school opportunities as well, all the community service or the other opportunities which are available right there. Start engaging yourself in the same from, you know, 9th 10th onwards, so that when you are in your 11th and 12th, you are focused on preparing your applications. There are several ACEs that you have to take, other language proficiency tests you have to take. So you can focus on those exams and your board exams eventually. So this is the, you know, timeline that you should keep in mind, and prepare your own personalized timeline, that what are you going to do and when, once you have identified your, like, what you want to do. Okay, so moving forward, I would now, since most of you are, let's say, in your 9th and 10th, we are going to share some tips on what to do and what not to do. And here I would like to invite my colleague Ms. Sheila to, you know, talk to you all about the confusions that you might have. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Sheila.
Yeah, thank you, Bhumi, and thank you so much for providing that timeline. I hope that's of help to our students here, and also connecting the dots as to how to identify your strengths and skills. The big question arises as to what next after 10th. And I know most of you would be confused, or some of you over here might know what to do with your life, or you might have decided which stream to take and which career to go. But then there could be a few of you who are still confused. Trust me, there's nothing wrong to be confused. There are many options that you can still choose from. You can still decide. And as Bhumi said, the school has taken a very good initiative of starting this early so that you explore various opportunities that's available. So as I mentioned, what next after 10th is a question amongst majority of students, right? It's a major intersection. It often turns out to be one of the most crucial decisions of your life and should not be taken for granted, for sure. So with the end of your school life, you begin a life where you have to start taking some important decisions, and it's important to have a clear career plan. So if you don't have an in-depth knowledge of the various opportunities that's available for you or which is ahead of you, you might end up in a career that's not made for you. So let's look at some of the mistakes students usually do, or you might have already been aware of this, but let's go through this. So what's the most common mistake that students do is following the crowd of friends, peer pressure, let's call it. So this is a major reason for selecting the wrong stream. Many students take up a stream because their friends have selected the same to study, but fail to evaluate your own abilities or interests and blindly follow your friends. You just want to be in the comfort zone. Let's say your friend has chosen to do a science stream and she wants to pursue her studies in St. Joseph's itself. It's a comfort zone. You want to follow your friend. You think science is good for you. You're not realizing that science may not be the best stream for you. That's not the career that you are looking at, but all you want to do is follow your friend. So you're ignoring your interest and following others. So the reason could be anything but decision of choosing that particular interest which others are taking up, or it's just peer pressure and you don't know what to do and you're blindly following it. Instead, like as Bhumi said, identify your strengths, your skills, what are you good at, and what is it that you can achieve as you move further. Another major mistake is family or societal pressure. So parents' support and the economic condition also play a major role in children's careers. And as we see, we may see families with bunch of doctors or bunch of engineers. So it so happens that they want their child to take on the same profession. And why do this happen? Because of social pressure. Because you may want to do psychology, but your parents want you to be a doctor, your family members want you to be a doctor, or the society
it's as I told you, it's societal pressure. They would not appreciate a child's decision of studying any other course other than what the father's profession is. So there could be cases where children pursue some other courses depending on their family's decisions. Let's say you might be interested in cricket, or you might be interested in music. Your parents or your family will encourage you to pursue that as a hobby, not as a profession, because they think, or they might, definitely in the best of interest of their own kids, but they may think that may not be the right profession. So these are some of the societal pressure that students fall in, but you should give a thought, and you should start thinking on your own and identifying your strengths and skills. You will hear me say more and more about identifying your interests and skills throughout the presentation. The next would be follow parents' dream. The other reason for choosing this wrong stream could be blindly following parents' suggestions. I know parents are your mentor. They are the ones that you look up to. And you know that what they tell or guide you is for your best. But sometimes that may not be the right thing. As I told you, you might be interested in a particular stream, or you may want to take on a different profession. So always, I understand it's okay to follow parents' dream, but not at the cost of not achieving what you want. So this is one of the common mistakes that most students make. And in some cases, students don't even have a goal. They select a stream with major advantages. And there are limited outlook of career options. You don't want to explore the career opportunities out there. You don't want to see what streams are available, what opportunities are available. Gone are the days when we had to just choose the conventional streams like engineering or medicine. There are a lot of opportunities out there. Why? I mean, it's no more a secret now. There are many engineers who are unemployed. There are many doctors in the who are of poor professions. Why is it so? Because that was not their area of interest. They just did it for the sake of, taking a profession or studying a course, but not something that was a right fit for them. So it's always important for you to see beyond what career opportunities are available, what is the scope of careers when you take all of these different streams. So explore and have an understanding of various careers that's available to you. Don't take up a stream suggested by someone else unless and until you are confident as to what you can make of it. For example, you see your neighbor who's doing very well, or you have a brother who's taken up another stream, or your sister taken up another stream, and you think that works best for you because they are doing well. No, all of you are unique. You have your own skills, you have your set of skills that you have acquired, and you can definitely find the right fit for you. So if these are the mistakes, what is it that you can do it right in order to land in a right career? As I mentioned, explore interests and aptitude. Being patient and introspective is equally important as being hardworking and sincere. Take time off and make efforts to explore your interest and aptitude instead of rushing into things. As I told you, learn as many career options. A limited outlook of career options can only prevent you from choosing your best suited stream and career. It is quite natural at this stage to only know a handful of careers, right? You might have heard being mentioned around you, but that is why it's important to take the initiative to learn as many career options as you can. Another thing, don't be blindly fixated on being successful. First, learn about you define success instead of adopting others' ideas as your own. I don't know if you've all watched this movie, 3 Idiots, where, they clearly say that fame and money should follow you. It's very important that you should attain success, and fame and money should follow you, and you shouldn't follow fame and money. So that's very, very important. There are also more than one path to reach the same type of success to find out which one works for you. Another thing for you is that don't think about pleasing others and find out what makes you happy. It's always important what you are happy with, because if you are satisfied in a particular career, then there's more productivity, there's more positivity. You're not stressed. You're not doing something just for the sake of doing. You cannot force your interest or aptitude. Hard work and efforts are important, but they bear more fruits when put in the right direction. Again, being different is wonderful, but the uniqueness should be represented through your personality and not your choices. So to sum this thing, every student has a unique set of skills, strengths, and weaknesses, and hence it's very important to take unique decision for every student. So now let's see what streams you can choose after 10th. There are a lot of options available, and it's very confusing as to which stream to select. If we go back to a decade or two when your parents were in your place, all they had to choose was between mathematics and biology. But now we have a lot of options, right? Also, while you are making a decision, you should not only look at the future and make decisions according to your career you want, but you should also consider your past, because then you know what your strengths are. You're connecting the dots and making the decision based on your strengths and weaknesses, and you're just not thinking about the future. And also here, I want to say that after 10th, you also wonder which education board you want to move on to. Do you want to, I know you're all from the CBSE background. Do you want to stick on to CBSE background, or are you looking at moving to other education boards that's available? Again, while you choose that, weigh the pros and cons, which is best for you. Do you want to continue with CBSE? Do you want to, there are students who jump onto state board, there are students who jump onto IGCSE. So you should think at every level as to what choices you need to make. So the three broad streams that is commonly mainly available are the science stream, commerce stream, arts or the humanities stream. These three streams are broadly categorized, and all these streams lead towards different career scopes. So a science stream is the most chosen stream after 10th. And you might have seen everybody picks up science stream. And why is that? Because it offers many lucrative career options, again, including medicine and engineering, but it is not a stream that you want to study without any interest. You definitely need to have interest if you want to pursue your science or take up science stream. It is also popular for the fact that it keeps your options open. A student who takes on a science stream in his 11th and 12th has an option, or has a chance of moving on to the other streams, whereas a person who comes from a commerce or a humanities stream will not be able to shift onto a science stream. So that's one of the that's the beauty of science stream, that you can move into any other streams. If you're not yet decided and you do not know what to take, then it's best to land yourself taking up the science stream, and it gives an opportunity to pursue their future careers in medical and engineering related fields. It has a lot of practical work for you, a lot of hard work, in fact. And under science stream, there are different combinations that you can choose from. You have science stream with mathematics. Again, a lot of students come to us. I don't know what's the fear, or they do not like math. So if that's the case, they will definitely eliminate maths, and you will have PCB, that's the science stream with biology. That's another option. You also will have an elective to choose from. You can either choose from computer science, or you can take up physical education, environmental science, depending on the university that you are applying to and what options are available. But again, students, if you are I know most of you will not be interested in math, or some of you might be interested in math, but if you are not interested in math, but want to, let's say, want to take up architecture later, then just so you know, that needs math. So again, you need to know what you want to do after your 12th as well before you take up the stream, because most of the careers available, or most of the degrees that you want to pursue later, may require math. So that's something that you need to think about even before choosing the stream or choosing the combination. So that's something. And I know you need to take language classes also in science stream. You can, and now you have options of just not sticking onto your Hindi, the local languages, but also take languages like French or Spanish. So choose what you like and what you want to pursue and what works best for you. So that's with science stream. Moving on to commerce stream, if you have strong mathematics and financial abilities, commerce is best for you. And subjects covered under commerce stream mainly are accountancy, business studies, and economics. As in science stream, you also have some optional subjects that you can choose from. You can either take an optional subject in mathematics, you can take a subject in psychology, fine arts, informatics practices, which is all about, again, about computer science. Then you have computer science and physical education. So there is an elective that you can choose from also if you pick up commerce stream. And if you are thinking which stream to choose after 10th, humanities can be a great opportunity for your career, as a wide range of subjects offer great career options. And also if a student aims for being an IAS officer or decide to get into other civil services, this is the best field to select from. With the humanities, students get to study history, geography, sociology, political science, and economics. I know there are various combinations in colleges today, not like what we had in those days. So you can choose a subject as an elective, as an optional subject, whatever is your interest. With that, if we can move on to the next slide, Bhumi. Yeah. So I discussed with you about the various streams that's available that you can choose from, but what is the scope of career if you choose a particular stream? So science stream, as you're all aware, you can land yourself, you can start pursuing engineering or architecture, anything to do with medicine or paramedicine, sciences, Navy, Army, or NDA. And under engineering, you can do anything from aeronautical to robotics. There are a lot of streams that's available under engineering as well. Architecture is most of the students are opting for architecture now. We've met with a couple of students and they are all interested in architecture. Medicine itself, as if you're interested in biology and you're interested in biotechnology, or that's another thing that's very, very interesting subject for students. A lot of students even move on to pure sciences. Data science is another important career for students, and most of our students branch out to data sciences as well. So these are some of the career options under science stream. There are many students also take up astrophysics. And some of them just want to do their master's and then go on to do their PhD if they are very much interested in just pure sciences. Moving on to our next slide, that's commerce. So under commerce, you can take up the careers that lead, or the degrees that you can take. You can go on to accounting, finance, international business, or you can take up business administration, under which you have international management, you have global management, you have organizational management, and also management studies. The lot of students with taking up economics now, that is definitely an interesting career for most of our students, and some of the professional tracks. But here I want to mention that there are students after their commerce stream who want to, they take up BBA or LLB, which is a new combination that is available in a couple of the colleges here. The beauty of that is that you have 2 years of business administration, which leads on to pursuing your law, 3 years of law, and after which a student can either choose to go on to do your MBA or even your LLM. So you have a balance of both management as well as your law skills. So that's something that you can do. And most of our students are looking at a career in BBA, LLB, and there are a lot of options for you. And both for science and for commerce, whichever stream you're looking at, as Bhumi mentioned in earlier slide, there are a lot of entrance exams that you start preparing for, and students start preparing for that right from your 10th grade, or some start at 11th grade. So there are classes that have already started for students while they are in their 11th grade. If students are looking at applying to law schools, let's say you are looking at applying for an engineering school, then students start preparing for their common entrance examinations, or each of these universities have their own entrance examinations that students can pick from. So students start preparing very much early in the cycle so that they're well prepared for these entrance tests. I'm just giving you a heads up on all of this so you are aware what to look for, because one thing is definitely, identifying a stream, but following which is a career option. And in order to reach there or reach that journey, what is it that you need to prepare? Moving on to the humanities stream, definitely there are a lot of other options. So if you go into media, then if you choose media, then there's mass communication and journalism. If you take up psychology, then you can pursue clinical psychology, health psychology, neuropsychology, organizational psychology. That's something that you can do. And there are various career opportunities in the field of hospitality as well, with hotel management, travel and tourism, hospitality management. And if you plan on to go on to liberal arts, then yeah, definitely into social sciences, political sciences, and gender studies. There are other careers that students choose from. As you see, it's fashion, photography, which is again a very popular stream and something different from your usual conventional stream that you choose. So these are various streams that's available, but let's see, if you have an interest in music and you also want to take up psychology, then how do you blend both and what careers are available for you? So I would like Bhumi to take over this and discuss this more in detail.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thanks, Sheila, for giving insights on what are the different kinds of careers and streams, in particular streams are available. So as Ms. Sheila mentioned that, like there are various careers that you can take up. Let's say even if you're taking up science, it's not only about biology or chemistry. Maybe you can also study anthropology. So think about the unconventional careers as well, which are out there and available, but not that popular, and that might align with your interest area. Okay, so here let's also talk about, if you have multiple interests or the skills and how you can combine that to maybe, find out a suitable career. So let's say if you are a person or if you're a student who is very creative and is also interested into the tech space, you also are technically very, like you're technically very good. You like being creative. Maybe there are careers like web designer or game designing or animation that you can take up, and you might enjoy those careers. Those are the professions right now also which are very well sought after. There are film academies which are hiring this kind of students. Like we have had several students who have gone into the institutions like Vancouver Film Academy or New York Film Academy, who had take up these courses, and they have been part of a really good movies which have recently come out. So it also feels really good when we see that the students had taken a road less traveled and have been successful at what they chose. So again, let's say if you're a student who is also again interested in really creative courses, but also academically really interested in sciences, maybe explore the courses like industrial designing, which will also lead to other such courses. Or maybe there are courses like either you can take up marine biology or you can take up other designing courses, landscape designing courses also, which you can take up, so related to architecture. So think about both the kinds of interest areas that you have, and not just on one line that, okay, I've taken science, these are the courses I have, I can take, or these are the careers, or these are the fields that I can go to. Those days are gone. Also, we are not living in the zone now when we take up or choose streams based on our academics. Whether if I've topped the school, or if I have really secured good percentage, I'll take up sciences or business or humanities. Those days are gone, right? Like, even if you have scored 90% but you're interested in humanities, please take that. You might just be a really good economist, right? So similarly, if you are interested in business and you're also a sociable person who likes interacting with people, who likes solving human challenges, there are careers like human resources, organizational management out there, and you might be a really good fit for those kind of careers. If you are looking up to your teachers, and you are also interested in psychology, you can be a special education teacher. And these are also the professions which are really well in demand with the growing awareness of mental health, the challenges that we face. And there are, you must have heard about a lot of children who have been in need of special education, but they are away and out of the school. How do we create opportunity? How do we make our education more inclusive? How do we inculcate diversity and inclusion in our education curriculum? So these are the things that this kind of professions will teach you, and you will have a unique opportunity to bring up this changes at the very grassroots level. So and if you are a student who is interested in music, also remember, you can take up that as a profession. You can also be a music therapy if you are equally interested in psychology, or if you like, making people better or happy through the music that you are producing. This, I'm not generalizing here, but we have seen many students where because we work with the students very closely, and especially when they are in the high school, when they're writing their essays, they do mention the challenges that they face from the society, sometimes from the family, that no, they wanted to really take up a career maybe in something that they were interested in, be it music or dance, but they could not do it because that is not a conventional success path. But remember, the careers like this are also out there and very much sought after now. So yeah, you can take up a degree if you are really an athletic person, you are a student. You can also take up sports coaching, sports education. So yeah, talk to your advisors and talk to us what are the kind of careers right there available once you find out your interest. Yeah, so moving on to you must have heard about the STEM courses: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which are usually popular courses the students go after. But the world has now evolved from STEM to STEAM. Arts is considered as an equally important aspect now. In the STEM category, the professions were very lucrative. The opportunity, the students would come to us and say that, no, I want to go for the STEM programs, because they would bring a lot of opportunities, both in terms of the finances, usually the kind of salary students get after the courses, the return on their investment is very appealing. But arts is now again an equally important part. The industries have realized it, and that is why the next decade and this decade is moving towards STEAM and not just STEM. So in sciences, like we have mentioned several careers that students usually take up, whether you can be a biological technician, you can be an environmental technician, you can be a microbiologist or a wildlife biologist. These are just the, some of the careers that the students take. There are various more available. In technology also, the world is very huge. You have seen like the last decade how data science has evolved. Data has become the new gold, right? Every company has their own data bank. Every country is now focusing on how to protect their data, how to protect the misuse of the data. And then this decade is going to be more focused on ethical technology, ethical use of technology. So there are going to be several newer career opportunities going to be available even as a data scientist, or the human computer interactions, or how you can use or bring more ethical approach to the technology. So see what are the challenges that the world is facing right now, and how you are going to be the next generation in solving that. Then the engineering fields, as Ms. Sheila also mentioned earlier, various fields are available. Just don't confine yourself to either mechanical or civil or computer engineering. Explore other branches. Maybe you might find out something that is unconventional and also appealing to your interest area. In arts, the fields like interior designing, art director, game design, these are now very much again in demand and popular, and that is why this field has been added now. Again, in mathematics also, you can be an actuary or a mathematician, you can be an economist. So a lot of options are available both in the fields of research, academics, and analysis. So keep your horizons open, and these are all the options available. Just one caveat here, let's say Sheila mentioned earlier that you have options to take up science, commerce, humanities. Based on the choice that you make, it might elevate whether you will be taking mathematics or not. But as she mentioned earlier, many courses in the future that you might want to take may require mathematics. So for an example, if you want to study architecture, it might require mathematics. Or if you decide that, no, I want to study in a country like maybe Canada or some universities in the US, they might require maths in the high school as well. So before you take this decision, see what are going to be your future plans, and take that also into consideration before deciding whether you want to take science or mathematics or humanities. So having said that, I think we have covered a lot of aspects now, and I would like to invite here both Ms. Sheila Tyagraj and Sheila Balan here, and then open the floor for the question and answers. But thank you so much for patiently listening to us, and we will welcome your questions now.
Thank you, Ms. Bhumi. It was quite an interesting session. Thank you, Ms. Sheila. There are a few questions that has come by. One of the first questions is being asked by a parent. He asks that his son, he or she, they ask that their son wants to pursue a professional as esports. Do you think it is a good career option?
I'll take this, and Bhumi, you can add on to that as well. So esports has definitely created some viable careers. So we live in a world which has progressed tremendously beyond our imagination. So whether it's sports, medicine, or engineering, thanks to technology, the career options are vast, and it's very normal to be a little anxious about new career choices. Like esports is a new career choice for us, or what we've heard now. So however, please do a thorough research and also explore your own skill set. So in this case, gaming skills, dexterity, networking skills, to name a few, if they match with your planned career option, then definitely you can take this up, feel passionate about it. Please do not sit around waiting to be noticed. You will have to go out there and show what you're good at. So esports definitely has a lot of viable career options, and you can definitely take it up as a profession. Bhumi, anything that you want to add to this?
Yeah, thank you, Sheila. I think you gave a very thorough answer. Just to add a few things on that, if your son has decided or he thinks that he wants to study a profession in esports, like, I first want to congratulate you, because you have thought about something that is not very conventional in the current times. So it's good that you are thinking very wide and open. You must have done your research on what are the kind of careers are out there is available in the esports. But I would also, like to give you one information here. Like, we recently did a session on careers available after esports on our connected platform with one of the universities that has a really good esports program. So I would also invite you to maybe, go on the platform, check the knowledge sessions, or reach out to us if you're not able to find it. Talk to the universities, find out what are the kind of courses that you are going to take, if that aligns with what you want to do. And there are various options that you are going to take up. As Mishila mentioned, there is game designing, there's dexterity, there are animations and other options available as well. So first, go through the university's pages, look out the career options available, and then decide. Let us know if you're not able to find that session. That has been very informative. So I would really like you to go through that.
A lot of insights to what you're looking at, and so you'll have a better understanding whether esports is good for you or what opportunities you have.
All right, thank you so much. Before I continue asking the questions, I'd like to again encourage our attendees, our viewers, to post in your questions if you have any. So there are a few people talking about computer science. The problem is they are interested in computer science, but they do not want to take up the other science subjects. So is there a provision where they can take up arts with computer science, humanities with computer science? That's few of them have asked this question.
That's a very good question, actually. And as we mentioned, I know with technology and all of these students are interested in computer science, leave alone not being interested in science subjects. Yes, they can take up computer science if that elective is available with the other courses that core courses that they take. And there are students who take additional classes of computer science in order to build their profile. So I definitely think it's possible, and you can take up this. But Bhumi, your insights to this.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Sheila.
It solely depends on the college that they are applying to or the school they are applying to, the combination that they are choosing. Let's say they take up arts, and if there is an elective that they can choose from, if they are going to take, if there's computer science, then why not? That definitely will give them credits, and they can pursue whatever they want after 12.
Yeah, I mean, something you also have to check with the school, what are the kind of subjects are available out there and you can choose from after your 10th. Yeah.
Just as a follow-up to this, in addition, I just wanted to check about the NEP. With NEP getting implemented, do they have options of taking up computer science along with humanities in most of the institutes that they might be applying?
Yeah, I think that's the expectation that it should happen with the implementation, because again, the objective is to make the education holistic and provide the students their interest areas, equip them, not to limit themselves. So I think that is the a way to go, and expectation that most schools will implement it.
Okay, thank you. Some students in 10th have opted for basic maths. So they want to know if once they step into PU, 11th and 12th, if they can then opt for applied math. Is there a provision to do that? I'm guessing the answer is no.
I think they can, right? Or no?
It's between basic and standard math. So if they've come up from basic math, in order to take applied maths, it would be a little difficult, because I don't know if they would have covered. So I agree with Sheila on that. There could be a difficulty, but I mean, I don't want to, just stamp on that. I want you to check when you are applying to a particular college and check if it is okay. You never know. There's so much of uncertainty these days. Things might change, and so I would definitely suggest that you check with the college that you are applying. But from what we know, it's not possible.
Okay. Sorry, I just lost this particular. So what are the options if a student wants to get into ISRO? What are his or her options in terms of courses that they can take up? Should they take up just science in order to get into ISRO, or do they have any other options?
Yeah, I think no, even the students with a business background, but with mathematics, can still apply. Again, it depends on the kind of roles that the students want to apply. We've also seen actuaries, students who have taken mathematics or economics applying to various roles, but depends what are the kind of roles, or if you are looking at an academic or a research position, it is better to have sciences as an option.
Having physics and mathematics as a background will definitely help applying to a student.
Yeah.
Most of the students now, because of the generation that is into social media, they want to know what are the options if they want to do something related to becoming a video editor, or if they want to get into YouTubing or gaming as a career options. Are these good options for them to get into, and what sort of courses should they do to become a video editor or a YouTuber or a gamer?
Sure. Sheila, do you want me to take it?
Take it, Romi.
Okay. Yeah. So I think again, as somebody asked, esports is a really good way to go about it. But again, before even becoming a YouTuber, you do have to decide what do you really want to emphasize on, what is going to be your content. We have seen like YouTubing or even being a content creator, that is something, it requires a few skills rather than a background, whether you are coming from a science, humanities, or a business background. It will require you to have certain skills, maybe writing skills or a creative thinking skills. So these are the skills that you have to focus on irrespective of the field that you take up. We have had students who have been from a science background, but they have been content creators. You must have seen like many doctors also now who are really good and very proactive on social media. They share their messages through social media. They have millions of followers as well. So I don't really think that maybe being a content creator or a YouTuber is linked or limited to any field or stream that you are going to take. But yes, there are certain skills that you would need to have. So irrespective of the field you are in, maybe think about what is the message or what is the content that you want to create, and what are the skills that you want to have while you are creating it, and focus on improving your skills.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Is math really necessary? What would happen if they do not opt for math in life? Is it going to be, the exact question is, what impact will it make in future courses if we want to opt for mathematics?
Yeah, I mean, every choice, let's say, have certain kind of consequences to it, right? So if you take up math, there might be some doors open for you, which you might think that no, eventually, they would require mathematics. Not having math might limit you some certain options, like if certain courses require mathematics, you will not be able to apply to those courses. For an example, if let's say if it is architecture, later on you decide to do it, you might not be able to opt for it. But again, that is why we are discussing it now, to weigh your pros and cons of deciding each stream. If you have found out what do you want to do, I think you will be able to make an informed decision whether you should take up math or not. Again, this is, let's say, we are talking about if you plan to study in India. If you are planning to study outside, I think the things will still be a bit flexible. Apart from some universities which are very specific that they need maths, a lot of universities will be really flexible. Let's say we have had students from business background studying computer science or studying biology. You take up the courses over there as you study. So there are consequences to every choice, but then there are also options to, or solutions if you have, if you do not have that.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I forgot that I wasn't on mute. One of the students, they want to know what are the courses that they can take in order to become a lawyer. And the other student on the same line wants to know what are the courses they can take to become a web designer.
Sure.
can talk about law.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
a student, you can either take up science, commerce, or arts. Definitely, you can branch out to law, as I told you. You can take up any of these streams, but then if you've decided that you want to go into law, then I don't want you to sweat out taking up physics, chemistry, or math and wasting your time on that. Instead, take up either commerce or arts. Why I mentioned that is that, as I told you about the stream with BBA, LLB, you never know. After your 12th, you want to take up business administration and also law. Then this definitely will help you. So these are the main two streams that you can look at if you want to take up law. And as I also mentioned, if you're really keen on pursuing this particular stream, then start looking at classes that's available that you can take in order to prepare for these examinations, as each university that you will be applying to have their own entrance exams as well as the national exams that happens. So if I've answered that question, or Bhumi, anything that you want to?
Yeah, no, you summed it up really well.
Another question about web designing, Bhumi, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so web designing, again, like if you are planning to study web designing, you might want to take either sciences, or even if it is business, take computer science or informatics as your other electives or optional subjects, so that it helps you. But a lot of our students who are in the profession or who have chosen to be a web designer, either they have done computer applications in India or computer sciences. So those are the courses that you might want to take up. Now, these days, the colleges have also started specific courses in graphic designing or web designing. So you might also want to pick it up as you plan your bachelor's degree.
This is a question from parents. How can parents recognize what the child is interested in so that they can encourage their child to pursue the same?
Sure. So again, in continuation to this question, I've sent a link in the chat box of our career cruising assessment. Is that link available to all the students as well, Ms. Sheila, or only we can see that? I've sent it in the chat box. Can we send it to the students? I've sent 2 links.
Yes, can this be posted onto the Q&A section for them to access?
Yes, sure, I'll do that.
Sure, thank you. So I think this assessment will help you to identify what are the interest areas of the student, what is the learning style, what kind of a learner the child is, like these things keep changing over the time. Even in our case, when we are adult, our interest areas have changed over the years, right? So I would suggest keep taking this assessment every quarterly or every 6 months. Compare the answers and discuss with the teachers, mentors, and of course we are here to guide you through that. So that assessment will help you to get the answer of the question that you have asked me. And another question, like another suggestion why we also give to the students is take informal interviews of people. Like I have several students, just last week I was talking to a student who said that she wanted to go for bachelor's in management studies, but had no clue what sorry for this background noise, but what it means to study bachelor's of management studies. What is the curriculum she's going to undertake? What are the professions linked with this field? Why does she like when you say that, no, I want to be a journalist, what do you mean by journalist? What do the communication professionals do? What does their day-to-day look like? Some professions sound fancy, but it's you do have to know that if you are looking forward to spending your next 5 to 7 years of life after your graduation, or a decade, or maybe your entire life, what is the day-to-day of that work look like? if you really want to become a teacher, maybe take an informal interview of any of your teachers. Ask them what are the challenges that they face in their career, what the day-to-day work looks like, and see if you would like that profession. If you have seen somebody in your family circle, or somebody's parent who is working as a software engineer, or who is a data scientist, or somebody who is into some other field that you really like, we do have an interview questions which I can share with the school later on. Ask them this informal interview questions, request for 20-25 minutes, and you would know whether you really like this profession, or maybe you were just influenced by it. Do some analysis on whether you would really like to go through that hustle of what they do in their day-to-day life, and probably that conversation will also give you some ideas on how you can be better prepared. Like when you ask them that why did you want to become a teacher, or why did you want to become a software engineer or an environmentalist, they will give you an insight on what prompted them to make them do it, whether some skills that they think they could have also learned during their bachelor's degree. So do this research before you decide on which career you should be taking up, because it should be ultimately, we think, a very well researched and informed decision, and not an influenced decision.
A lot of our students have posted very similar questions of asking what streams.
You're muted, Mishila. Sorry.
A lot of students have asked repeated questions here. I'll just summarize that and see what we can do. They want to know what sort of courses they need to take up in order to venture into specific career options like IAS officer or web designer or lawyers, and it goes on. So would it be possible to put across like a slide which has those ready, because otherwise it's just going to be repeated.
Right. So what we can also do after the session, let's say by Monday, we can share a guide with you and some takeaways. I also talked about some of the informal interview questions and the assessments, and we will email you a takeaway guide which you can further share with all the students, which will also outline the details like which are the streams available, and if they, let's say, want to take up law or web designing, what are the streams and subjects they should be taking up. We'll also try to share the list of colleges and universities in India which are offering those courses.
Yeah, a few questions that's not similar. One of them have asked me, is it better to do arts in 11th and 12th to become a fashion designer, or a direct diploma? Which one would be a better option?
Yeah, so see, when you say direct diploma, I'm assuming it is a diploma in like arts or design. So if you are really sure that no, this is something that you would want to do in your bachelor's degree, you can take up diploma as well, that is fine. But if you want to explore more options, sometimes students are not too sure and they just want to decide what they want to study after the high school. So if you want to keep all the options open, it is better to go for high school education and then go for a bachelor's degree. But if you're very sure, if you have decided, no, this is what you want to do, I think it is okay to do a diploma. Just one caveat here, that ensure that your diploma is well recognized by UGC. So even when you want to apply outside or maybe in a university in India, it has an equivalency of a high school education in India.
These questions, this specific question that's come in is from 9th standard students. Now they have to decide in 10th whether to opt for standard math or basic math. So there's this confusion of what should they opt for, and in case they opt for standard math or basic math, not standard math, if they have to opt for basic math, then what happens if they want to take up science? Then what happens if they want to take up commerce that has a math subject? Would it benefit them, or do they have to do something in between to come up to a standard math level?
And I think this is a very personalized question and something that the student has to take a call on, like based on their aptitude and ability. Is this the question by Sanvi Singh? If I understand the question correctly, can I opt for commerce in 11th and 12th or in PUC? What all combination of subjects I can opt in commerce?
Yeah, that
Is
and
that
another
the question?
student has asked, yes, that, as well as another student has asked, just going back 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read the question again maybe and understand.
Yeah, what are the pros and cons of standard math and basic math? Which is better, ma'am? That's another question. Almost
Right.
similar.
That's right. Yeah. So again, like there is no one size fits all this answer to this, and you'll have to take a call based on your ability. Only, you know, based on my understanding as a college advisor, what I can tell you is the universities do look at it and value if you have taken challenging courses during your high school. So if you think that you have an ability, if you will be able to take up other challenging courses, you can take up. But whether you can take it up or you cannot, I think I would, you know, maybe leave that on to the teachers to discuss that with you.
Yeah, Nirmala ma'am has just texted me. Nirmala, do you want to answer or shall I just read out what you've said?
Yeah, I'd like to add here because a lot of questions are related to standard math and basic math. CBSE specifically has given an option to students to take in basic math, provided they choose not to select math going forward in their degree. And also those students who are finding math difficult, so that their class 10 results do not affect because of their math percentage. But CBSE has also provided another feature. After the 10th board exam, there's a compartment exams where the students can take in who have taken basic math and they can move to standard math. So it will be considered as a standard math if they take that compartment exam, if they still want to pursue their PCMB and take math in their science going forward. I hope that is clear on the basic and standard math. So, you know, no options, even science option is not closed for the students who take basic math, who change, you know, if they want to go ahead and pursue science, they can still take the compartment exam and then move on to standard math, and, you know, it's the normal math, then they are not restricted to not take math going forward.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. If they're planning to go abroad after 12th, which is better to continue in terms of education, ISC or CBSE?
So especially when the students are planning to study abroad, like we've had students from all curriculums, ISC, CBSE, State Board, IB. So just ensure that there is, like, if any curriculum that you now change from CBSE, it is going to have its own pros and cons. What matters is your grades that you are going to secure in your high school. Every college, they have their unique standard of evaluation, so they do not weigh IB over CBSE or ISC over CBSE. They will see what you have scored compared to their standards. Like, for an example, let's say if you're applying to the US universities, they have their own GPA method. So they are going to convert what grades you have into their GPA equivalency, and that's how they will evaluate. Now, the universities also consider whether what kind of a background do you come. So let's say some students usually come from a background, or sometimes even the regions or conflict regions, or the local curriculum where they do not have a lot of opportunities and access available to the activities or the other things that usually students would have done. So all these factors are also taken into consideration. So there is really no such thing that ISC is usually weighed over CBSE or IB is better than CBSE while applying abroad. Yes, of course, because every curriculum has its own opportunities. Those students are usually able to build their profile accordingly. But if you think that you want to take up ISC and it will not impact your grades, you can do it. Nothing at the cost of improving your grades. If that we've seen, let's say sometimes students do say, like this year only I had a student who has changed to IB curriculum, but that has impacted his grades very severely. Now that justification will not be really viable, that I changed the curriculum, because it was a choice, right? So just think about it, because ultimately your grades are going to be very important. And another important factor is when you are applying outside, the application process starts a year prior. So when you are applying, you will not have your 12th grade results. You will only have your 11th year results and your predicted scores of 12th. So if you have just started with your 11th, you're facing challenges, or the curriculum is really stringent and that has impacted your 11th grades, that will also impact your admissions. So just take a very calculated decision here. And yeah, it's not about curriculum, but about the grades.
Thank you, ma'am. There's a lot of students who are asking, what is better, company secretary or bachelor's or arts after 12th. Maybe if you send those slides, that will help them understand those things better. Some students in class.
Ma'am, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, a lot of them are again asking about, what is better to take up right now to become company secretary, or, should I do a course in company secretary or bachelor's after 12. So I think the slides that you would be sharing with them, the handouts, that will help them decide on what to venture into. But a few of our students in class 10th are yet to decide on the courses that they need to take up after their 10th, 11th and 12th. So if they haven't decided, what would be better for them to opt?
Let's say if they have not decided what do they want to do after their 11th and 12th, and they are in 10th right now. I think if you have like absolutely no clue whether what do you want to do, the safe bet would be maybe to take up, commerce with mathematics, so that all your options are open. If at all you think that no, maybe sciences would be too much. And the reason why I'm saying this, because a lot of courses what you might want to take up after your high school might require mathematics. So in order to keep all the options open, the safe bet would be that. But again, if you have time, do a research and make an informed decision, and not, just based on like what we are saying.
Okay. What if the parent disagrees with what the child wants to become? Then what does, like, for example, if we are interested in a particular thing like esports, but the parent disagrees, what should we do?
Yeah. So this year in the applications, like I literally had a student who his all aces were based on how he convinced his parents for the fields that he wanted to take up. He wanted to go for finances, and the family background came from engineers and doctors. So it was very challenging, but I think it's really important that you convince your parents of what you want to do, why do you want to do it, and show some commitment towards what you want to do. Let's say just the student had done that wonderfully because he invested a lot of time in the activities related to finance, a lot of internships, project work, research work also he has done, and he got internships with the research opportunities from the international universities. So this kind of a commitment, and also the faith that other people had shown in him as a very passionate learner, also made his parents convinced that no, he deserves this, and he really enjoys stock market and how the trading works and investment banking world works. So he's prepared for those kind of challenges as well. So this was just a case study to help you all understand that there is like no my way or highway. Show some commitment towards what you want to do. Tell them why do you want to do it, and it is not just an influenced decision because somebody else is doing it. You are clear about where that will take you, and I'm sure your parents will also not only cooperate, but they will then help you to move forward to that path.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A few of them have asked about very different things, like if I want to get into the field of music, or if I want to become an actor, or if I want to get into theater, then how should they proceed, or what courses should they take up?
Right. So take up the courses which will also help you to build your portfolio in this kind of programs. Like when you apply for the music or theater courses, your portfolio is very important, and your portfolio will consist of the work that you have done, maybe inside the classroom or outside the classroom, but you will have to focus a lot more on your portfolio. So let's say even if you are taking business studies or humanities or sciences, you should have enough time to be able to work on building your portfolio, on doing things which will help you to apply to a music school or a theater program. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll just take one last question, because the rest of the questions I think will automatically get answered when they get the handouts through email. One of the student has asked, can I become a chartered accountant after finishing degree in science? Yeah. Like the engineering or medical, if they get into engineering or medical, can they then become, here it seems like the child wants to be a chartered accountant while the child is being asked to do science, maybe engineering or medical.
It's going to be like being a chartered accountant is a really time testing process, right? It takes years of efforts. And if you have seen the results of, I think even the CA exams will be released last month. It's very competitive. Sometimes the results are in the single digit. So the efforts that it takes, if you take up sciences or maybe equally challenging courses, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to cope with both the things. And again, CA is a profession, and it's a professional exam that you will be taking along. You will be preparing for that alongside your bachelor's degree and taking it right after that, or some levels during that. Now there are several levels to that which you will be completing, maybe inter CA, and after that you go to the main levels of examinations. So in terms of eligibility, you'll be eligible to take it up, but it's going to be very challenging for you in that case.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. There are a few more questions, but it's just repeated questions about courses that they can opt to get into specific career options. So that would be answered when we share the handouts. This is for the students who are watching and the parents. Links have been posted in the chat published section, the Q&A published section. One of that is the feedback link, which will also give you the attendance for today's webinar. So please do the needful before you exit the seminar, the webinar. Yeah, I'd like to invite Ms. Supriya to render the vote of thanks.
Good morning to everyone present today. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. Firstly, my gratitude to our principal, Father Rohan D. Almeida, for his encouragement and support. I thank our resource person for the day, Ms. Sheila Tyagraj and Ms. Bhumi, who have shared their expertise and inspired us with their knowledge and thoughts. I thank our teachers, Ms. Sheila Balam, for organizing and moderating the webinar. Our technical team, Ms. Yashashwini, Ms. Akshita, and Ms. Rani for helping us in the technical aspects and being a backbone for the webinar, without who this webinar wouldn't be possible. I thank Ms. Nirmala Briggs for invoking God's blessings, Ms. Veena for introducing our speakers for today. Last but not the least, I thank our audience for taking time out for your precious time and attending this webinar. Thank you all. You may now leave the webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. That was a wonderful session and great questions, in fact. Thank you so much for having us.